Hey guys, it's me Evelyn here on Ironic Excluder, and today I'm going to show you guys how I make my coloring PSDs. I'm using a screen cap from The Walking Dead. It's of Beth, and I'm going to go ahead and resize it because I always do my colorings on a smaller size of the original just so that the image would be more clear, because sometimes when you get a full high quality image of a screen cap, there's still graininess in it from the person who's capped the screen cap or the video. So we're going to go to image size, and we're going to change our width from 128 pixels to 500, and it's going to automatically change our height to 200, and we're going to click OK. So now we have that. We're going to go ahead and start to do our coloring. Now you can easily go to the layers and click new adjustment layers and click one of these settings to start coloring, but what I like to do is I like to go to my layers panel and click the circle, which is half black half white. When you click it, you'll get all these adjustments. So first of all, I want to kind of brighten the image, so I'm going to click brightness and contrast, and I'm going to zoom in to about 100% so we can see the image more better, and we're going to toggle the brightness up a bit just to give it some more brightness, and we're going to go ahead and click the contrast. You can go ahead and contrast it 100% or bring the contrast down so that gives it more of a grayish matte kind of look. I'm actually going to go ahead and do about -10 on that. We're going to toggle on and off to see the difference, and so far so good. We're going to go ahead and go back to adjustments, and I'm going to click curves, and I'm going to bring my curves up a bit just to brighten up the image, and then come here down and bring it down a bit to darken the edges a bit. It's kind of like brightness and contrast, but another version of it. I like to do more than one brightening when I start making my coloring. Now we're going to go ahead and we want to affect the image, add a coloring to it. I like to color my image overall. Some people like to just affect one color of it. For me, I'm just going to do overall coloring for this one. So I'm going to go ahead to the bottom and click my selected coloring. And this here, when you click the colors, you get all these options: red, yellows, green, cyans, blues, magentas, whites, neutrals, and blacks. These will easily help us change affect every color here. So you can click reds and you can toggle on the images, and you'll see the reds in her skin will appear more red, or if you go to the other negative, it'll be more of a bluish color. So you want to go ahead and just mess with your settings. I don't have a preferred way of how I color my images. I just do them how I think will make it look nicer, and I usually play with my settings various times to get the perfect coloring that I want. So I'm going to go ahead and just bring the magentas like so, and then mess with the yellows and bring them more onto the plus side as well, and the same with the blacks. So we have something like this, and you can just toggle your colorings however you see fit. I'm going to some more red, so I'm going to do negative. And we're going to go into yellows. Yellows is going to affect the yellows of the image, and we're also going to play with that as well. And I like to just slide my slider and just look at my image to see what I like, what catches my eye more so. So we're going to do something like this. We're going to go and click the greens, and we're going to affect them as well. So do something like this. If you hear dogs barking, I'm sorry. My dogs are very active, and they're in the backyard, and I'm right by the window. So if you hear them, I'm very sorry. But there's dogs roaming up and down the street. Children are playing because it's actually pretty outside. The sun is shining, and there's, you know, a bit of clouds, but not much. We're supposed to get rain, but we didn't. And I live in California, if you guys are curious. And not in like Southern California. I live in Northern or Central California, but yeah. We're going to go ahead and do that. I'm going to click cyans because there's a bit of kind of blue here in the background, and her shirt's gray. Let's see if it affects anything. It kind of affects the background, but not much, so we're just going to say no to that. 1, 2, 0. We're going to go straight down to magentas and see how that affects the image a bit. None really, so we're going to make zeros on this one as well. Go straight to whites, and whites are going to affect the whites in the image, basically like the light, the skin tone a bit, if there's white in the skin tone. Slightly affects it or not really. Neutrals is going to affect the overall image. So if I slide it back and forth, you'll see the difference of the image. And I just like to mess with it to give it some color, like so. And we're going to blacks, and blacks are going to affect it, dark it, or bring in something else. So I'm going to go ahead and do maybe mess with it a bit, just see what gives it, what takes away. So it's kind of nice like that. We're going to go ahead and add another selective coloring though. Whoops, wrong one. Selective coloring, and we're going to go ahead and just mess with the certain bits more. We're going to go ahead and back into the greens and see if we can give the trees more green or make it more blue. It's up to you how you want to color your image. This is your image. You can do whatever you want to it. Some people like to over color, like one thing, like let's say you have an image that has more red. People like to make it pink, and then they like to make it pinker, and then pinker, so it's a really hot pink or really like bright color. Some people like to do that. I don't mind it. It's actually up to you. But remember, it's your picture, not really your picture, but your coloring. You put what you like into it, and if others don't like it, that's their problem. Well, that's what I think anyways, because a lot of people's colorings are very different. Depends on the person. That's what makes colorings unique. So here I'm just adding more yellows. I'm going back up to the reds now and see if I can add a little bit more reds to our image. See, I was talking about reds. If I bring the magentas like this, or is it the yellows, you can see that the reds get more purple, and some people like to do another selective coloring and then bring it more purple, like so. And you can continue to do this until you're like satisfied, like so. Some people like to do that. Me, it's really up to the person. But I like to give it more color. If I'm doing something really drastic, very graphic looking, like if you just want one color pop, you can do that. But again, it's up to the person. I'm gonna go ahead and back into my adjustments. I'm gonna click color balance, and we're gonna add some more color using this. And I just say similar to select the colorings, but you don't get the red, blues, greens, cyans, yellows, magentas, whites, blacks, and neutral. You get midtones, shadows, and highlights. And you can affect just that. See, right now we're on midtones, so we're gonna affecting the overall image. And I'm just adding some color into it, slightly. And then we're gonna go ahead and go into shadows, which are the darks. And you can add color in that way as well. Like that. You can add more green, more purple, whatever. And then we're going to highlights, and we can add more color that way, which will affect the brightness of the image, like so. Now I'm going to go ahead and add a vibrance, just to bring up some of the vibrance in the image. I did 15 and then 16 here. I'm going to go ahead and add a levels layer, and I'm just going to mess with it to see how it looks. Maybe bring some of the image vibrance down a bit, like so. Then I'm going to go ahead, and if I toggle on off, you'll see a slight difference. It just makes it more matte and not so colorful. I don't know how to exactly say that. Now I'm going to go down to my adjustments again, and I'm going to click hue and saturation. Going here to saturation, you can actually affect the colors as well. So we're going to affect the greens first, and we can make them brighter by brightening up the saturation, or we can mute them out, like so. It really depends on you. I'm going to actually use this to affect the red and the yellows. So I'm going to reds. I'm going to bump up the reds a bit. You can slightly change the color of the reds as well if you want to, and maybe darken it just a smidge. And then the yellows, I'm going to bring them down, mute them down a bit, and you can change the yellows as well if you want, like that. Oops, 0. Or lighten them. I'm actually going to lighten them because I kind of like the way it looked, so we're going to do something like this, and we'll see how it looks with the reds as well. Kind of mattes down, so we'll do something like that. Next, I'm going to go ahead and do a gradient map. I have my color set to green and beige, just like color of the image. I'm going to set it to luminosity. It's going to give it some more coloring, and we're going to slowly pull the fill down to about 28 just to give it some more matte looking. And then I'm going to go ahead and add a gradient map, not a gradient map, well, we'll do another gradient map. Set to soft light, and then just slowly lighten that as well. Sorry, I got a bit interrupted. So after we do this, it's just gonna give it some more coloring. Just highlight some bits. I'm gonna go ahead and do a gradient over the image. I'm gonna do black to white, and this just gives it some more dimension. And we're gonna go and click it on the modes, normal to soft light, and as you can see, it kind of brightens it. So you can actually pull it in between images to see if it affects it, but not really. And I'm just gonna go ahead and, instead of doing it black to white, I'm just going to go ahead and click transparent color and just shift the colors to black, like so, so that it just gives the bottom bits more of a darker edge. And then I'm just going to lighten it just a smidge. So now that we have that done, we want to go ahead and grab another image from the same type of video or screen caps. I already have them here, and I'm going to go ahead and pick this one of Daryl or Norman Reedus. It's from the same area, same time frame as well, and it's gonna go ahead. It's gonna take a second to load, and you're gonna right click on your image and copy. Go back to Photoshop, Control N for new image, and then Control V to paste, and Control E to merge down. And then we're gonna resize the image size. So we're gonna do 500 by 280, and then we're gonna go ahead and group our coloring. So click one layer, hold Shift, click the last one, Control G to group, and then it didn't bring in my last one. Control G to group, and then just press V on your keyboard for your move tool appear, and click and drag over to your image and see how it affects it. Now see how it gives it more of the same tone. Yeah, his yellows are more yellow than hers, but that's fine. It actually doesn't bother me much. It's kind of how we did the coloring. And then you're done. So to save your PSD, you're just gonna go to File, Save As, and you're gonna make sure it's Format Photoshop Document, and you're just gonna name it and rename it to something of the same. I have these for my Tumblr, so yep. I hope you guys like this tutorial. Don't forget to comment, thumbs up if you like, and subscribe for more tutorials from me. If you guys want a tutorial, leave a tutorial a tutorial request in the comment box below. I'll do my best to make a tutorial for you. If you want to see more coloring tutorials as well, like this video again, and I hope to have more for you guys soon. Bye guys.